I'm live. All right. So, um, a lot of times when I start, I'm like really bubbly and really here, really here. But I think there's some things that have been on my heart, and there's some truths that I have experienced that I know that in my J essence persona, I have to find a way to educate you and give you the truths I know. Um, I do want to say, number one, that the truths that I know are personal. They're not to be a reflection on every single thing, and they're truly here to be able to educate. I also know that there's probably some stuff that's on my heart and mind that I need to get out, and I have tried to have conversations and tried to do things, and we are there. So I labeled this one my personal truth about investing and reflections because I am in, I believe I'm in year three. It's been such a journey, y'all. And people are like, oh my gosh, you've learned so much. And I do say that in consultations, in the private Zoom calls, I'm very transparent and I try to tell you as much as I know. But that means that when I'm on YouTube, I am very cautious that people watch this. I'm very cautious that people tend to take a little bit and make that a definition of things, and people pick and choose what they want to do and learn. And one of the things that I don't want to portray is when I speak of Rhonda or if I speak of something, it's an end all be all. I am very conscious about people's journeys, and different journeys look different ways. And just because you did this to lose like 15 pounds doesn't mean the other person can lose 15 pounds doing the same thing. And so this is a disclaimer, but it is on my heart that I probably need to talk some things through. The very first one is, let me just get it out there for people who are not going to stay long. Um, Earlier in our career, I did an interview with a company, and I don't know if you noticed, and it should be their information has been pulled off my site, um, because this investment opportunity, I would not recommend going forward or doing it at all. And unfortunately, some people are tied up in this. And what happened is, in order to try to what happened is that they had investors before, and when I went and interviewed them, I met investors as well. And then in the midst of me working with them, they changed names, they changed companies, they changed directions. And in that, I created a friendship with the person who was over everything, and saw the business model, knew the business model. And I will say this positive: Grow for Me Ghana does exactly what they say. Grow for Me Ghana does exactly what they say. That is something I have invested my money in, paid out on time, very professional. And in my ignorance, which I'm going to talk about as an investor, things you don't realize you do, I took somebody else's business model and I placed it on the expectation of a company that is here, Shirazi. Um, and what's happened is that that company did not operate in that same way, and I actually became very close trying to be part of it at one point in time, thought I was a board member or whatever, so I could be a liaison between investors and building communication gaps, creating that professionalism to say that we care about you and we'll be transparent in communication. And just it did not, I will just say it did not. It was very embarrassing and hard to try to chase somebody down so I can talk to them about people's investments and the payouts and different things like that. And what it ended up being is that the faith that we have in investing in a company, or the faith that we're trying to do, they took the faith and they took the money, but they didn't honor it. And that's a very nice way of saying, "Oh, you've been conned, you've been swindled." But I wanted to be transparent in the fact of, I really did one try to make an investment really work for people, and I also wanted to say that to those people who, at the time, I said at the time I believed in the business model that I came back and I don't know. There's payouts still supposed to be happening. Um and those things, but I have taken myself away from that company because number one, like I'm being nice, just communication. Like there's no reason why I should have to chase a grown man down. There's no reason why I should have to chase a grown man down. And there's no reason why, even if something doesn't work or doesn't fail, that you're at least accountable to people or talk to people and discuss people. Because now I'm going to get into this whole thing about investing. When people are investing their money into you or into something, they're investing a high level of trust. And one of the things that I've recognized in my investor journeys and learning things, and even listening to EYL now, they talk to Robert Smith, who is like the, I was going to say the blackest billionaire. Like he's the number one black person with money in the world. And he was going through the difference between what his company does and then what a regular investor does. And I was like, oh my God, I know what I was falling into. And when you're just a regular investor, what you're doing is you're taking your capital and you're investing it into somebody else's dream. And you're hoping that your capital allows their dream to fulfill and come back with profit. And what he does is like he is a company, and his investment strategy is that my company will take over to help fulfill your dream. But we have the logistics, we have that, and we have all those things. And so, what I say is that now, in my hindsight, is that um, I don't know if it was this get rich culture. I don't know what it was. That I don't think that I had enough education as an investor and to come out to where I came, you're going to bump your head, you're going to get bruised, and I'm going to probably come truth with a whole bunch of truths, and you're going to um you're going to flounder. You're going to flounder, especially when you jump all in. When you jump all in, there is floundering that happens, and so we're looking at the trust of I give you this, raisin in the sun, and this shall happen, and um no, it does not work like that. It does not work like that out here. If you're going to invest, and I kind of feel bad because I can't say, like I said, I can't say 100%. I'm not going to say this 100%. I know of two companies that, because I know the heads of those companies, I do trust them. I just have to take such a step back because of all the bumps that I've had before. Um, so I do give that disclaimer. But in investing, you have to be able to leverage yourself with a hands on position. You need to be in the trenches seeing the work. You cannot just say, I'm going to invest in what you say is going to do and let it transfold. There are so many incidents of miscommunication, of no communication, of um, just mess. And there is also instances on my end or of being I'll say gullible or so ready to like you're so optimistic that you're not really ready to catch the red flags. I almost want to put this towards dating, and I'll show you why in a second. Because you know what can happen. Like, oh my gosh, I'll tell you this. Coming to Rhonda, dude, there are so many possibilities. Like, nobody's going to come to you with a bad plan. Nobody's going to come to you with a bad plan. Nobody's going to come with you with a bad idea. Like, Rhonda is so ripe for things to happen that you are going to take a notice of what can happen. For instance, like I said, in this business that I talked about, it's not a hard business plan. This is a ripe area. We definitely should be doing agribusiness to be able to turn around and flip it over and sell it. Like it is not hard. It's a no brainer. It is a no brainer. And so you'll fall into that and not pay attention to asking about the step by step processes, the paperwork, the accountability, um, the the people who are in place to make it happen, the plan B, option A, and those things. And then you also have to be very realistic that investing, while it sounds beautiful, is like gambling. You are taking a chance. There is a chance, and you have to understand. And you can say whatever you want to say about the odds or whatnot, or what this or what that, it is what it is. Now, I will give a disclaimer that contracts in Rwanda, when you have a contract in Rwanda, you do have ways to enforce, like the law has been really, really good about certain things. And so if you do have a contract broken, you can. So the difference is like we say you can go to RIB. RIB is the police. RIB are people that, for crimes. If there's a crime against you and you have the proof in the write up, you can definitely go to RIB. You can follow up. Yeah, I'm just going to be transparent. I've had to go to RIB twice. I went to RIB on my worker because they were stealing from me. Um, Actually, two of them. It was two different instances. One was through car, that they actually was selling parts out of my car that I found out about, and that was a whole nother. I talk about investing. That's a whole nother. No, I'll go into it. So one was stealing parts out of the car, allegedly, because we're on video, whatever else like that, allegedly. Um, but went to RIB and filed my claim and report, and it was because and this is what happened. What happened is that I was told I needed to buy a new engine for my car, and so I put in the money for that. Um, and kind of after this kind of mess, woke up one morning, was like, well, where's my old engine? And that's when I recognized that they went and sold my old engine. And then when I went to talk with the person who was working on the car stuff, they mentioned that there was other stuff that happened allegedly, because I don't want to get in trouble. And so I went to RIB, and that was followed through, and that was a seemingly process. Like that process was that person was arrested, um, and different things happened, and there was a day in court, like that process went through, that was fair. The second one was, I don't know what happened. I just reported it and I let it go, um, because that was reported. Now, when it comes to contracts, RIB does not handle the breaking of a contract, because that's a breach of contract. And so when that's a breach, that goes into the civil court justice system, where you then talk with your lawyers and do different things. And for record, one of our viewers took, like, that company to court and followed through with that process and received their judgment. And you learn that. Um, I'll go through some other stuff. So, talking through those pieces, and if you guys have questions, I think I can do better on questions. Like right now, I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible. But I do want to say, number one, at this point in time, J Essence does not endorse any type of investment thing. I will talk to you about it, and I will say these are the things you need to watch out for, you need to know, and you need to ask. And that vetting process is very, very important. And I have said it before, if you feel red flag, follow that instinct, and don't follow our heart. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm rambling, but there's so much that needs to be said. Um, I do feel that when African Americans, people come over here, um, I'll get there in a second, Julie, that we are coming over with such a faith. Like we are, oh my God, y'all, we are so happy to be here. We are happy to be here. We're happy to breathe. We're happy to see blackness in its beauty. We're happy to be on the soil. The land is so clean. And we are coming with such a elated and happy spirit that when we get into some business dealings, when we get into some things, um, we're going into it with a little happy, jolly, da 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 da, versus the actual business acumen that we should be having. And so that's why some jading happens. Like you have like the 6 month period where the reality hits, and you be like, okay, wait a minute, I need to handle this like this. I need to handle this like this. And it also shifts people from who you're going to be. Like, especially when you're going into business entrepreneurship or investing, like who are you going to be in these situations? How do you handle these situations? I know one person who's an investor or whatever who is very tight on contracts, very tight, and that's something he learned being here. And um will write everything down. Has It doesn't matter if the person's coming in just to do a paint job, we'll have them sign a contract, because if something fails upon that, he takes them to, and that's the other thing, when there's disputes, um they really try first not to go to a civil court or whatever. They're going to try to handle it locally through, your district cell chiefs and everything. They're going to try to handle things locally, because they're trying to do that. And so, but he's so tight on that, and he's kind of sat down and he's like, yeah, I wasn't this person before, but I want what I paid for. I want what I asked. I want what's promised, and I want that. I don't need somebody to come in and do a job and put in the wrong piping and then tell me I need to come back and fix it when it was their mistake in the first place when we talked about these things. So there's a lot of talking in before. And I prop him on that one. I prop him on being able to do that. And then after that, honestly, I've created a group. So if you are in Rwanda and you are a business owner, I'm creating the SBA, Small Business Agencies, something, um, for Black expats. And so I did that group only because I wanted us to be able to share good information. When you have a good plumber, like my plumber, do hands down love him. I recommend him to everybody because it's very hard to find quality people. Like I was telling somebody, the person who I working for real estate, which I'll be transparent about, Christine, I love her. And I go nowhere else. I pretty much go nowhere else. And I know because once you find something that works, like I literally stay there because I've been too many times with the other piece of things that don't work. And that part of finding that, oh my gosh, like, and I could say that, like finding like a mechanic, like my one of my mechanics, it wasn't my mechanics, when the first car was messing up bad, um we had a mechanic show up and like wasted, he was so drunk, and like those type of things, and it's like, how you working on my car? Like, dude, just go. um and so, like, when I say when it comes to investing, like, there's times of vetting out those people. It's vetting out, because you're going to come here, you're going to meet somebody, and they're going to be great. And you're like, oh my gosh, I really want this person to work with me. And it's like, okay, um, let's do some shopping runs. Let's do some practice things. Let's do some things, because people will always say what they are, but they might not always be able to stand up in what they stated that they are. They can't stay there, and you need to be able to vet that out, because you do need an assistant. You do need somebody to be able to help you, and that piece comes in with a lot of trust, and you have to be able to really lean on them. So you need to know how hard they can take it, because just like I said, one of the people that I started off with before, who was really like an assistant, nowhere near me now. And I'll be honest with you, probably like for those people who really know me, like my first 7 months here, and this is a really hard conversation. The first 7 months here that I've had, probably first 7 months to a year, like 80% of those people, maybe I'll go with 75% of those people are not with me in the journey now. And there's nothing negative that I need to say, except for the person who I was at that time and the person who I am now are not the same. And I will say faults that I have. So this might be another one. So faults that I might have is that I was really happy leaning on people and being supported in the beginning. It was a relief. It was like, yeah, this person got my back. We're family, da da da, because that's thrown out all the time and everything. And then now I'm kind of like, nah, cool. I'll build my family. Like my team has been here, but um it's not the same people. The quality couldn't stay consistent. And one thing I will say out here is people will show their hand fairly quick if you stand back and let them. And so if you listen. And so and like the people are nice out here and all this other stuff. So like I don't that's why I say I don't like talking about this because I don't need people coming in with a chip on the shoulder because let me get to the second piece of being honest. We are jacked up too. Sorry. Let me go ahead and get that like God forgive me. Let me just go. We are jacked up too. I do know of black expats, black Americans, blacks on other who have swindled people, who have not paid people to do what they're supposed to do, who have used services and not taken care of it, who have had crazy demands, who have had um anger fits and different things like that, who have accused people of doing things that have not been done. It's a two-folder. It's a two-folder. And so, when we talk about investing, and then we talk about the things on the other end, it's just like I said, it's this really this line that just I'll be honest with you, I don't want to walk it no more. That's just it's like being able to being who I am in J Essence, and I'm really rooting for everybody to win. I'm really rooting for everybody to be here. Um, there's this line that is really hard to navigate, and I just want to focus on navigating it with myself and my people. And it gets hard because like people call like I want to invest, and it's like there's so much more to that conversation. Like I need to consult with you first on what are you trying to do, how are you trying to invest, what is it investing in, what are you trying to gain, how is it supposed to gain. There's so much to more than just saying I want to come in and invest. Like it's so much more. I love the people because there are people through my cousin connection that I've seen that have come in and they have done the research. Like they are walking the path, they're meeting people, they're taking their time, they know what their business is, and they're meeting all these people and getting it in place. And they're like, yeah, this was a headache, but I did this. And these are the bumps in the road. And they call sis, hey, what do you do about this? And we have those entrepreneur level conversations because you are going to be swimming through mud. It's going to be hard. It's going to be sticky, but there's a possibility to get it to the end. I'll say number two, like this is a rambling, but I'm going to come back. Do not underestimate the power of conversations. Do not underestimate the power of conversations. There are so many people out here who have done the work. Why not talk to others? You don't have to. That's the thing that's beautiful about a conversation. Just because I tell you something or somebody else tells you something doesn't mean you have to follow it. You can just know it. It's kind of like reading the book before you see the movie because there will be some changes, there will be some other things, but like going and doing your own thing and not talking to other people to vet, to get information, don't do that. You're going to be out on a limb by yourself and things are going to happen because this is not your environment. You don't know. Nothing's going to be easy. Um like I don't know, like somebody was talking to me even about internet. And they're like, man, this goes out, this goes down. I'm like, dude, this is who I use. Nobody knows about them. They're excellent. Really? Yeah. Like, what are you trying to do and gain? Um, so because I was going there. Going back to invest, like I hate saying this. Like, I'm so sorry I'm all over the place, but I just need to talk to people and let you know. Investing on the continent, let me say this piece. Investing on the continent is hard. Um, what I tell people is to me with Rhonda, like okay, let me get this part done because some people ask questions and some people are like, no, you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. You don't come, that's the wrong way. You come to Rhonda to invest. You you just need to explore like for a month. And everything that's coming into your head, let it come into your head. Write down ideas. Sketch this out. Ask where this is. Ask where this is. Figure these things out. Like, let all these things come in and let all these ideas come in. And then, like, one day, just purge them out. Get them out of your system. Like, just talk it through. And then, like, if you believe in God or believe in whatever, put your sticky notes up or whatever, and then let what's supposed to happen fall to you. I do believe that this space is blessed and it's touched if you are realistic in what you want to do and know that investing takes time. So I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that Rwanda is a good place to invest and build in if you are realistic with the expectations. Because the first thing I tend to ask people if we're consulting or talking and they say they want to invest, I will say into, like, I was gonna say which sector, but I'm gonna say, like, at what financial level are you going after expats? Are you going after locals? Like, who are you going after? What money are you trying to see and have a return on? And are you budgeting around that realm? Are you willing to turn around and, like, number two, like, invest? Like, how long are you waiting to see your returns? Because you're not going to see returns in a year. I think that's actually one of the biggest mistakes that business people make, is that they invest so much money that they want to make that money quickly back and not look at the 20-year range down the line of, if I create these systems, what does this look like? So in that consulting, um, I'm going to talk to everybody a second. So in that consulting, or what I'm talking to you about, is you have to know, like, I know of someone here that has a hot dog stand. Like, dude, he is so about local money. He's so about this. They're doing these things and it's 100% cool. I know people who are doing real estate who are focused on expat money, not even expat money. Let me take that back. They're focused on like embassy money, and different things. And so you need to be able to say, "Well, this is what we want to do," and then look at those price points. And then, like, once you kind of create your budget of, this is how much I'm willing to do or whatever, I say it, I say it, I say it again. Whatever your budget is, like, if you're saying I'm going to invest 20,000, have 40,000. Have 40,000, have double what you say. And you can still work within your $20,000 realm. But you're going to get mad if you say, I'm going to invest 20,000 and you're down to your last 1,000 and that's all you have. Oh, you're going to be livid. But if you turn around and stayed within that 20 and you still have your cushion to breathe and live and love and do all the other stuff you're doing, it's not going to be hard and you're not going to be walking around with this stress, because there is a stress behind investing. Like, there's this stress of, I called somebody, weren't they calling me back? Where is this situation happening here? And da, da, da. And the level of communication here is different. And then you're trying to figure out in your head, at what point am I being patient and what point am I not? Like, it's in your head, it's targeting, and you're trying to, figure that out. It's just ugly. It is so ugly. And so, those pieces you have to know is going to happen. There's no way I can prepare you for it. There's no way I can prepare you for it. I can just tell you it's going to happen. And I'm going to put this piece out there now so it can be stated. I don't want people sitting there saying, this is what Africa is like. No, this is what this business is like. There's a reason why corporations are corporations and people do what the things that they do. Oh, that feels so much better on my eyes. Um, because, transparent point, the situation I have with this investment that happened with this agribusiness, um, I would be a liar if I did not say that something like this did not happen to me in the States. Like, just transparent moment, y'all can make fun of me, but I had um a boyfriend or whatever that actually conned me and stole my identity and ran up like credit cards and all kind of stuff, and I had to deal with like $20,000 of debt because of trusting somebody to be who they said they are and not paying attention to red flags and not vetting systems. And when I say vetting systems, like when I Google search this brother, like, dude, you didn't even go to college. Like everything you said was a lie. And ignoring the fact of that intuition of being the stalker girl and Googling and all this other stuff and everything. Because when I did timely start saying I needed answers and called the ex wife who, everybody dogs out, and she was like, baby, you are like the 20th woman who's called me in the last 3 months. Like, this is what he's done. This is what he did. Da, 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 da. And this person's not here. These children here and all this other stuff. It was a mess. But I can't sit here and say that I've been through this drama and this is just an Africa drama. No, this is a con artery drama. That is not a word. But there are conners. Don't want to say that that's a name, but okay, so people con. We have no good people. We have people who thrive off of other people. Period, point blank. We have leeches in this world. We have people who look out for people who want to be able to take advantage, and they do not have good core instincts in the first place. Those are just people. And what I say with that is you can't see them in the beginning. So you have every single right to be able to say, what I have been given, I've been blessed with, and I want to see receipts. I want to see these things. I want to see accounting papers. I want to see paperwork. I want to see if you say that it's going to build this yield. I want to see this yield. Has it not done it for you before? Give me another person who's in this field so I can see it myself. And if I'm going to turn around and do this, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to do it with you. That's to me the biggest thing that I feel like I could take away. That out here or just in different places is no longer about just giving your money. Like what I was saying, listening to Robert Smith, and he's like, this is what a venture capitalist does. And I'm like, if I had gone into a lot of these things saying, I appreciate your business model, but I need to see where I get to call on accounting. I need to see where I get to do these things. I need to see where I get to stand in and become part of the system. I can trust that a lot better because you're telling me what you're going to do. So let me talk to some other investors that you have or other people on the board and do these things. Um, because I hate saying you have to be anal like that. And I might be just talking in my Virgo ways, but if you want to turn around and be a smarter investor, because I'm going to give you my other reality truth that I see, you have the right to be 100% in every aspect. It is not giving your money and knowing what a vision can be, because here's the key thing: you have the vision. That other person doesn't have your vision. That other person's vision is their vision. And as much as you guys can talk, say, or whatever, you weren't there when that person incorporated the vision. And I shouldn't say this because, like, I'm trying to have a literacy center and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, yo, send money, send money. But the other piece of it is, like, let me be honest with you. I have a track record. My resume has proven itself over and over and over again. And that's another thing that I talk about to people and everything. I put myself in the fire. Y'all have seen the farm. You have seen my cousin connection. I'm on my word and I'm on my reputation, which is why I probably don't have to say, you know what, let me just do this. God forgive me if this is wrong. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I denounce Sasa Farms. I denounce Sorazi. I denounce that entity as an investment business. If you want to get into it, that is on you. That is not on me. All of my materials have been pulled down. And while I have still attempted to build that relationship, persons from that have not called me and we have not communicated, and I have reached out several times. Let me just say that so I can stay BNJ essence. Whew, conscious is freaking clear. Conscious is freaking clear. Okay. Um so getting into um that aspect of what it takes to be an investor. And that's why I said this is my personal truth about investments and reflections. It is hard. I will also say the second piece on this because I haven't said it. Me and my mother have really sat down. I have sat down with myself. I have done some really hard. training, learning, studying, listening. Like the things I listen to now are not the same things I listened to 3 years before, and just becoming a better steward of who I should be. One of the things that we have stated that um, and I'll tell you why. Um, we plan to pretty much build what we want here and create it. We realize, and I think she'll say she realizes that she trusts me. I trust myself. I trust the team that is around me. I feel like, um, forgive me for this one. I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna cuss. Forgive me. I can't say it any other way. There has been such a grooming of me, growing up and not, "You don't be a bitch." You know what I'm saying? Like, watch your mouth, watch your manners, watch this. That I closed my mouth in situations where I was trying to be polite for others instead of 100% opening my mouth and advocating for myself. Those days are over. And the reason why is what people were calling bitch for me was actually like intuition, smarts. This is how people get ahead, and it's not being evil. It's having the right to ask questions, and if those questions are not answered properly, the right to walk away. And so, in those things, what I've recognized is that the more that I've done this in business, the more that I've invested this money, the more that I've pushed forward and honestly asked for these things to happen, the more that the blessings have opened and the more the doors have opened. And it's not about running anybody over, it's about advocating in the space that God told me to be in. So it's not bitching, it's advocating in the space that God told me to be in. And if God told me to be here, I need to make sure I honor it because I have people that I honor, that I carry on my back, my mother, my team, my people, my reputation, my father's name, my legacy, my bloodline. And so, because I am the keeper of the realm, I am going to be able to have these conversations. And if they don't suit, we can kindly part ways. But because of this, I'm saying now, what we've recognized is that our move forward in Rhonda is our moves. There was a lot of partnering in the beginning for me. There was a lot of, working with people or hoping people would come to the table. And after the last deal that I had, it's not happening. And the last deal is I mentioned briefly before about me looking for a house. That deal fell through. The reason why that deal fell through, let me go ahead, is that I talked to the person who was selling the house. Um, Entertainment values only in case anybody wants to get mad. And we settled on a price. I went and did the contract, and that person wanted 5% of the sale down to hold the house until the bank came back with their final decision. And I stated in the contract that the bank needs to approve the mortgage at 100%. And so all of this was laid out, it was notarized, it is good. And what's happened is because of the policies of the bank, and I really did, we went through so many, I paid so much money to get it appraised and all this other stuff. Just long story, just policy of the bank, the black and white, is that it was not at 100%. It was kind of like at like between 30-40%. And I was not willing to do the deal with the bank. I was not willing to take out that mortgage. And so I went back to the contract. And when I went back to the contract, that man basically called me names and said, "You like a liar, you wasted my time. I am going to keep this 5%." And it's like, "No, you're not. You're going to pay it." And then he was like, "Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that." And none of those things actually happened. And so the moment that I'm ready to take it, I actually went to RDB and then they were like, "Oh, you have to go to civil court, but please go to the sector person first," which actually I knew was going to happen because I know that the guy had a reputation, except for did not recognize that on this contract that everything we had, we never vetted his daggone address. So I just literally can't find him to be able to say, I want to get my money back. Can't find him. And I do know from what I was told that there's a way that if I could find him, that if he put a sell on the house, there's a junction that I could do in the civil court where my I have to be paid before he could sell that house or whatever else like that. So like I said, the courts are actually in your favor. You just have to know how to set yourself up to be safe with the courts and all that other stuff, and I did not know that. So after that deal's gone bad because that was $2,000. Like, I literally drive past the house now and be like, "God, give me my $2,000 back, please. God, give me my $2,000 back, please. God, give me my $2,000 back, please." Like, that's all I do because I can't. One, and I'll tell you that piece in a second. But because of that situation, because of just that kind of turn, people do not like on money. The recognition I have, and this is why it gets back to investing, is that things are going to happen through me. Things are going to have to happen through me. It's not about me hoping that you're going to come to the table with your part. It's about me knowing that what my part is, holding on to my part. And so we are going to build our house. We will vet our different construction people and like one guy who I totally love, and we will turn around and go through that system. We will pay the additional monies to have people who are a little bit more professional. We will do those things, but the way that we treat money now and the way that we hold on to it is just very different because we now look at I don't know if that's a good Bible analogy because I was going to say the people who with the light, and there's some who let their light go out when they were waiting for the husband to come, and the ones who kept the oil so they would have some when he came. But like, no, 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 no. There are certain ways, and the other piece that like me and my mom talked about is we've been here for 3 years. We enjoy it. We love it. This is home. No more jumping. We walk into situations, we don't jump into situations anymore. We walk into them, and that's the thing, like, dude, if you're quiet enough, the people that are supposed to be around you will be around you. The businesses that you're supposed to invest in will be still around you. Like when you let the dust settle and see who's standing in the thing, they'll be there. So, but the thing is if you jump and rush and run, if you're so caught up on your own freaking goal that you're not seeing all this other stuff, you're going to bump your head. You're going to crash. You're going to burn. It's going to be crazy. But if you just let like and I'll say this rabbit farm that I have that is so close to my heart, that is so dear to me, took 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. I'm literally looking at the finances right now. Like I don't even like looking at the financial report cuz it is so much. But it took 2 years. And there were parts where we had to be quiet and there was parts where we had to run really fast. But it took time. And that's the one thing I will say is that the truth about investing is for me is you can honor I don't know. I was gonna make that up because I was trying to be like really deep at the end and give y'all something to walk away with, but I think that's BS too. Like it's it takes time, and you have the time to be able to say yes or no and to walk away and to breathe. It's the same thing where somebody's like, when you see something at Target or Walmart, or like if you want something, I'll tell you this one with my tattoos. Um, like give it 72 hours. Give it 72 hours. Just alone time. 72 hours. Get past, oh, thank you, Jesus. This is it. Get past the what ifs. The what ifs make you happy. The what ifs make you giddy. Um, Another story. Um, I had ah, I had a boyfriend who I pretty much swore is one of the loves of my lives. Like we were the ride or die at that point in time. It was one of those love hard, love heavy situations. And so anytime during like the breakup, we had like 2 or 3 breakups before it really ended. But when it really ended, what happened is in between times, like we get a telephone call and the memories come back and it feels good and you go back and be into that safe space, right? And then, then you remember why you were broken up and you kind of stay away and then you come back and then you have a good time and we go out and drink, and whatever else like that. And so at the very something happened and I remember because I am a poet, I'm a writer, and I wrote a poem. I should find it, but I'm not. And it was like, what if? And the basis of the point is I am giving up on the what if. I am letting the what ifs, the maybes, the possibilities, the could be's, I'm letting all of that go. I'm letting go of the dream of what possibly could be. I'm letting go of the dream of what could happen. I'm letting go of the dream of what should happen. I'm letting go of the fantasy of holding on. I'm just letting go of the what ifs. I'm letting go of the what ifs, and I'm letting the ises hold weight into my world. And what is the truth was you're not there. What is the truth is that when times were hard, you weren't there. What is the truth is we were good. What is the truth is we go separate ways. And I truly hope that for the future that you have, you never have to have a daughter who understands the power of letting go of the what ifs as I did. And I gave him that poem. He said it was the cruelest thing I ever did to him. Like he was hurt, he was shocked. But that was my reality is that I had to let go of the what ifs for me to see the truth. And that is what I will leave off with the whole investing thing. You have to let go of the what ifs and understand the truth. Is your business successful? What does it take to be successful? Do we have to cut bottom lines? What financials is it? Like business is business. It's a black and white. It's not rested in dreams and hopes and everything else. The dreams and hopes is what you get to breathe in later. But when it comes to investing, when it comes to working with people, I need to see who you are. I need to see what you are. I don't need to be giving you a definition of who I think you are. I need to know what it is because no matter what you're saying, you're investing. When you're handing your money over, you're handing it over. And I leave before I go into at least the comments. Yeah, because I got a couple of things to do. So, with the comments, I would 100% go to Netflix and watch. I think it's the Spotify, like how Spotify came. That was very eye-opening for me. And the reason why is it was one of the few times that you get to see um the different like the 360 view of what it took to make a business come into fruition. And I loved it because in one of the documentaries, which what we're used to is they held the CEO like he was a genius and everything else like that. And then in the next episode, like dude was an A. Like, and I loved how it just kind of put all of the different perspectives on what it really took for this business to come. And the reason why I really say, and it was an eye opener for me, is that the investor behind Spotify, like there's this real transparent moment he has where he's like, do I have ADHD? Am I like bipolar? Because when I go hard, I go super hard. But when I crash, I crash. And it was like the hunger of how he invested in this at the time insane company was really crazy. Um, and I only say that because as an investor, you have to hone into your crazy. You're doing something, you're jumping off a cliff that's not everybody's going to jump. And sometimes there's a parachute and sometimes there's not. And so you have to understand when people say there are risks, there are risks. When you put in your money into a product that people haven't seen before, or there's not a blueprint for, or there's different things, yeah, the returns are great if you get to the returns. And so, like, really watching that documentary, not documentary, it was like a regular movie, it wasn't a documentary. Because it was acting, all that stuff was just really good. And I needed to be able to see that, to be able to understand that I can't take these financial losses like when I go, let me end up the story. Like the story I told you about the con artist boyfriend, the financial losses that I've had, I can't take those. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I could take them personally. There's some people that I see even in the street, like bam, we tussling. Um, all I can do is grow from them. And that's what's going to happen out here with investing. You're going to grow. You have to have the knowledge to grow. You have to have the knowledge to grow. Because I'm really trying to give y'all something to go away with. Let me go ahead and get into the comments real quick. Um, I have a hello, much love. Why we as Black people hold each other black back. Yeah, so I got into a conversation. I got a couple minutes. Y'all, it's just sad and sickening. And my conversation was loosely like, who would we be? Who would we be if we moved together? When other countries come out here or other people come out here, just like it's known even in America, how certain races they move together and they help build a economic powerhouse within each other, and that's how they root themselves. Um, the biggest tragedy probably in our global history was teaching each other and allowing each other to be against each other, because the entire time while we were fighting so hard to be separate and prove the east side or west side was better, there was somebody over us that was taking all sides. And so who would we have been? Who could we be if we bonded and believed in the brotherhood and sisterhood that we stated that we should believe in? And there's people who are fighting the us. Yeah, yeah, we've done some stuff. I don't know what this is because it's been so long ago. So Patsy, thank you for coming in and talking. And Julie, thank you for staying with me for this whole time. It's been a long time. Yeah, get your V12 visa first so you can work, save, and explore. It's so much. Like I said, I'm not against investing at all. I'm just saying that you have to be smart. And I do feel like join, call me, whatever, join the business group. Like, let's sit down and have some talks. Let's sit down and have some coffee and remember, and this is what I really say. Um, Nobody is 100% right and nobody is 100% wrong. And really, from any situation, you could take 70% of what somebody says and call it truth or whatever. And that's not against lie or anything. It's just vetting, vetting. So that's why I say talk to people. It's not talk to one person. Don't talk to one business. Like talk to different people, and then you take it and pull it together. It's a matrix. It's when you make a cake, you don't go into the kitchen and put everything into the cake. You take what you need and you put some things in and you leave some things out. Same thing. Same thing. All right. So to everyone, I shout out. I thank you. Like, subscribe, all that other stuff. Um, I'm not going to hit y'all with the Literacy Center project right now. I'm really not. Only because this was just a learning showcase for those people who want to support the Literacy Center. Let's go. Let's do it. I have a game plan for you. It's been so good. It's been so good. It's been so good. That's a whole nother conversation and testimony. Um, yeah, I think that's it. That's the truth. Let me see. How do I feel? I feel good because if you really watch this video, I secretly like released a couple of demons that were kind of tapping. I've been clear here, but tapping. And so everything you guys do is on your own. Disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. Every disclaimer, every disclaimer, every disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. Anything else? Disclaimer. Okay.